The United States has historically had one of the lowest voter turnout rates among industrialized democracies. Why? Several structural reasons. Most democracies automatically register eligible citizens. We don't. We hold elections on a Tuesday, a workday, creating barriers for hourly workers and caregivers. We have no national election day holiday, and our parties run weaker get out the vote operations than many parliamentary systems. And here's the consequence that matters. The voters who reliably turn out are older, more educated, wealthier, and whiter than the electorate as a whole. The voting electorate systematically overrepresents groups that lean Republican and underrepresents groups that lean Democratic. Recent elections have departed from these patterns dramatically. The 2020 presidential election produced the highest turnout in modern American history, about 155 million votes, roughly 67% of the voting eligible population, a level not seen since 1900. The surge was driven by intense mobilization on both sides, the expansion of mail and early voting during COVID-19, and the extraordinary political salience of the race. The 2022 midterms also produced historically high turnout for a midterm, partly because of the mobilizing effect of the Dobbs decision. The 2024 election saw turnout moderate from 2020, but remained high. Now to one of the most intensely contested battlegrounds of our era, access to the ballot. Since the Supreme Court's Shelby County v. Holder in 2013 effectively dismantled the Voting Rights Act's pre-clearance requirement, states with histories of suppression have enacted a wave of restrictive laws, voter ID requirements, fewer polling places in minority-concentrated areas, shorter early voting windows, restrictions on mail voting and drop boxes, voter roll purges, and limits on third-party registration drives. The empirical question of voter fraud is well settled. The Heritage Foundation's own database, and Heritage is a conservative think tank, documents fewer than 1,500 confirmed cases over decades in a country that casts over 100 million presidential votes. That's a fraud rate too small to affect any statewide outcome. The political stakes, though, are openly acknowledged. Republicans generally calculate that higher turnout benefits Democrats and tighten the rules. Democrats calculate that lower barriers help their coalition and push to expand access. And finally, the 2020 election introduced a new dimension, the organized effort to deny the legitimacy of results. Trump's refusal to accept defeat, the 60-plus court cases, rejecting fraud claims on the merits, and the January 6th attack on the Capitol represented an unprecedented challenge to the peaceful transfer of power. As of 2026, a significant portion of the Republican base continues to believe the 2020 election was stolen, a belief that has reshaped state-level election administration and become a litmus test in Republican primaries.